Hey, welcome back. Let me just tell you, you got to tune in on Saturdays now because every week on Newsmax, what goes on here from noon to 2 Eastern on camera is fun and great, and we're talking about the best in news, markets, and politics. But on Saturday now, the CEO of Newsmax has been so amused by what we're doing. There's a new show on called The Best Shots of Liquid Lunch, and it's all the best stuff that happens on camera for the week. But there's also a whole boatload of all the crazy crap that goes on behind the scenes. And this wild and wacky Wednesday will probably make the show. And as I mentioned, we mix it up every day. But my favorite duo, the dynamic duo, is John Burnett, Managing Director of One Empire Group, and David Eisenbach, Columbia University professor. David was a candidate for New York City Public Advocate. John was a candidate for New York City Comptroller. So they've been in the back rooms, they've been in the ballrooms, and they've been in the boardrooms. And now they're here to mix it up for you. So guys, let me just throw it out there. The impeachment hearings are on. We just talked about it with Jen Kearns. I think it's all theater because, as David has pointed out many times ably for us as our in-house presidential historian, no president ever has been thrown out of office due to impeachment. So it's going to fail in the Senate. What do you say about these hearings, Johnny?
It's political theater. You know, they actually came out of the basement. Now they're putting their show on Broadway.
Finally.
Like us?
Finally. But I don't think it'll be a good hit.
I know.
You know, I think, what's his name? One of the witnesses, Kent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he started off with his statement saying how his family, you know, coming from this lineage of public service and love for country, and he had all these positions and things of that nature. You know what I heard? He actually confessed in front of America, in front of the world, that he's deep state.
Here we go.
Right? Hey, we've been doing this for years.
Yeah,
we know better. Here's my opinion.
We don't care who everyone else voted for. We're the deep state.
And here's the essential problem. Even if these witnesses, and I think they're doing a good job, confirm this notion that there was a quid pro quo, that Donald Trump was leaning on the Ukrainians to investigate Joe Biden, his likely competitor in the presidential election, it can be easily dismissed by Republicans in the Senate as a deep state conspiracy. So it's never going to go. It's never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Our in-house presidential historian, David Eisenbach, says not going to happen. You think he's going to get impeached? That's what I was going to go. I was going to ring the bell because we all agreed that this whole thing is a darn joke. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this little nuance lately. All the left-wing media is now trying to get away from using the words quid pro quo. They say, well, we don't need a quid pro quo, and we don't need to use Latin terms. Now they're going to bribery.
Right.
So now, somehow, Donald Trump went, psst, come here, here's a bag of cash. That's bribery, right? It's not, hey, do me a favor, help me figure out why a server in your country, CrowdStrike server, was transmitting information to Hillary Clinton and Perkins Coie and creating this dossier. I want to know what was behind these people who unfairly attacked me and tried to do a soft coup on me. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Exactly.
Any of us would sign. I sign up right now. Out of the whole field, Joe Biden doesn't know what state he's in, can't keep his teeth in his mouth, his eyeballs are bleeding. Donald Trump would rejoice to run against him. He wouldn't try to knock him out of the race.
Right.
Yes, me.
The logic behind it is that the Constitution does specify treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Right.
The problem is that bribery is defined by law. We're dealing with something that happened between a conversation with the president and another president in Ukraine. Where's the law? There's no bribery there. There cannot be, legally speaking, bribery involved.
Well, look, when you're talking about corruption, right? President Trump was investigated, right, during the 2016 election. And he didn't even know about it. The only difference between then and now, he actually knows about it. So they're doing the same thing that they did before. And when you look at President Obama and Vice President Biden, they were at the seat at the table. They're the ones that gave the approvals in the direction of a lot of this, working closely with the law enforcement community.
That's right.
So the collusion, the corruption, and the investigation and using law enforcement for their own political gain started under President Barack Obama and Vice President Biden. So it's definitely connected. And that's the reason why President Trump is saying,
What he
look,
said.
we're not going to allow this to happen. He vowed to the American people that he will never allow this to happen again. So he's standing up and saying, look, before we go forward, we have to look back at what happened in 2016.
That's not why he
And
wants
look
to
at
find
Russia.
the dirt.
Look at Russia.
Please.
Look at
Don't
Ukraine. Ukraine.
Spare me this idea that Donald
It is.
Trump,
We
to
have-
preserve the U.S. Constitution.
I don't know what's in that cup, but look.
Oh, come on, man.
This is the truth.
Donald Trump wanted to find
America, let's
dirt
drink to the
on
truth.
Joe Biden because he was worried about Joe Biden. Right?
No, let's me and you drink to the truth.
And
gonna drink
that's
to the
the
truth.
truth. Now,
Lord knows what this guy's
there
drinking.
are
He comes in with that mysterious cup every
There
week.
are
We don't know what's in that cup, do we?
I teach a class after this, so I can't get too loaded. But in any case,
I like the way you said too loaded.
The confession.
look, throughout history, presidents have used the FBI and law enforcement. Franklin Roosevelt used the FBI to dig up dirt against his political enemies. Right?
Impeach.
So there's nothing new there. The question is this a problem now for Donald Trump in the quid pro quo that his chief of staff admitted to? And the answer is, in the Senate, it's not going to be a problem.
David, are you saying that every time any government or any corporation or any individual give money to someone else, right, there is no interest and there's no expectation?
I'm saying when a president uses foreign aid to get another government to investigate his anticipated political opponent, yes, that is a problem.
What
and
is
is
their
that
role?
A high crime and misdemeanor?
According to certain reports,
well, the Senate
there
will
was
decide.
some involvement in that, right? Look, President Obama appointed Biden to oversee the relations
That's right.
with
And
the
Joe
Ukraine.
Biden, by the way, he's on tape saying, yeah, you know, I went over there to Ukraine and I told them, hey guys, listen, you better stop investigating my son's new company,
How is
Burisma,
that not a quid
or I'm
pro
going to
quo?
take our aid and I'm going to get on that plane and you got 6 hours to fire that prosecutor. I'm taking our aid back to the U.S. Biden said that. He said it, right?
And I'm not defending Joe Biden or Hunter Biden.
Sounds like you are. Sounds like you are.
And look what he's doing. He's running for president now.
I'm not
He
defending
knew that would actually tarnish his political future.
We're talking about Trump, not Biden.
No, we're talking about Biden.
No, you're talking about Biden.
You're talking about Trump talking about Biden. I'm talking about Biden talking about
Biden.
Trump.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you know what?
Moving on.
When we mix it up, sometimes we even try to mix you up because I said
Clearly.
that he knew that I knew that he knew what's in that cup right there. But Johnny and David, thank you very much. I know we had other topics to talk about, but you guys were rolling it. You guys were rolling it there. Hey, you want to talk about Mike Bloomberg?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Not a snowball's chance in hell.
Quick final thought.
Yeah.
Mike Bloomberg in Arkansas. He's a diminutive dynamo, but I don't think he has a chance.
Look, let him spend his money. You know where it's going? It's going right into the pockets of the consultants. It's not going to reach a voter. Why? Because when the voters in New Hampshire find out his use of eminent domain, when the voters in New Hampshire and Iowa and everywhere else find out that, you know what, he had a gangster mentality, muscled the city council to get his own third term.
Yeah.
Right?
Bribed
So
everyone,
not
if
only
you ask
is
me.
he
Talk
filthy rich,
about bribery.
also abuse of power and all his other nanny state policies, they're going to send him.
And when
Final
Democratic
thought.
voters hear about how he took time out of his schedule as the mayor of New York to go to Goldman Sachs to give him a pep talk to tell them, you guys are doing God's work, don't take any of the criticism seriously, they will say no.
Can
Ding,
we?
ding, ding, ding,
I was
ding.
going to say, can we stipulate we all agree that Mike Bloomberg has no chance?
No chance.
We
No
all agree,
chance.
and we agreed again, and it
Ring the
happened.
bell.
I'm ringing the bell. We're taking a quick break. John Burnett, David Eisenbach, here for you and me every Wednesday. You stay right there. Coming back after this with Mindy Molina and talk about her book, God Loves You, and there's not anything anyone can do about it. Right after this.